make this pretty quick so that we can get in there and show you guys the bikes. This little presentation is about 10 minutes long. We're going to do a little section at the end for Q&A, but also feel free to ask us any questions when you guys see the bikes out there. So first off, I just want to say thank you guys for coming. I know it's the weekend and all these things. A huge thank you to our team. If you guys don't know it, but our team has been working really late every night. They've been coming in super early in the morning. I just want to give a round of applause to you. I also just want to say thank you to Miranda. That's my wife. She's been supporting me through all of this. It's been a lot of, like last night, me staying up till 2 or 3 in the morning, working on my computer. And so just thank you, Miranda.
Kiss, 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 kiss.
There's always one.
Miranda sold the first Spark bike. That's a true fact. She, we opened her doors in like 2018 or so, and she came by after work to help, and she inevitably sold the first bike before that. So, yeah. Anyway, this bike has been quite a process. It's been a little over 2 years to build it and to figure it out. The bike started as a rigid frame. You guys might remember that. If you take a look back in my personal history, you'll see a project that I worked on when I was in college. I actually designed this stair climbing walker device. It was a device, it was more about how the device was made and the wheel mechanism itself, not so much the fact that it was a walker. But that stair climbing walker used this exact steel kind of cross system that we're using on the Javelin. So it's kind of interesting how it all works its way out, right? So let me pull the bike out. All right, so this one is a base model. And you're going to learn that there's a lot of different variations of this bike.
Yeah. Nice.
So first thing I'll do, well, I might blind you guys, I don't know. You guys have seen the fact that the seat opens up, right? So inside the bike is a very large storage compartment. This storage compartment is big enough to actually carry your charger and a lock and a ton of other space. If you look at the side, this cross piece right here, that is all empty cavity. So if you think about it, you could fit a whole other battery right there. The middle section right here is where the battery lives. And then this front triangle is where some wiring is. But you can also modify the bike if you would like to run the wires in a slightly different way. And that would mean this entire body could hold a battery. So by default, the battery is 40 amp hour, but I don't know. What do you think? You could probably put in an 80 amp hour, maybe. Big shout out right now to the guys at Tapia. They drove 13 hours to get here. They really, really saved us. I gotta tell you, we've been having a lot of trouble with the seat. The seat is complicated because it has to be comfortable. It has to be able to hinge forward. It has to lock so that when you're riding, it doesn't open up on you. There's a lot that goes on with this seat. And the other batches that we had done did not work out at all. And these guys made them in like 2 days. And not only these, but for all the bikes in there. I'm just going to go through these 4 different things. So the first thing you guys are going to want to know is the power, right? So the Javelin is going to run a 4,000 watt motor. It was a 3,000 originally, and we're going to be bumping up to 4,000. And you're going to ask why 4,000? It's because 4,000 is equal to about 5 horsepower. And if you look at the way the laws are written, the federal regulation for the max for a moped is 5 horsepower. So we're pushing all the way up to that max, and we can also step it down depending on your state to the 2 horsepower limit, just like the Bandit. And this is going to make the bike rideable without a motorcycle license. So that's a big deal. So even though it is a slightly larger bike compared to some of our competitors, it is still within that class. It does have a 72 volt battery, 40 amp hour capacity, and a 100 amp BMS. So good battery and a 10 amp charger, right? So these are kind of good standards to keep by. Moving on to the trims. So these are all the different packages that you will be able to buy. So the first trim is a frame only. So we will sell the bike as a fork and frame only. You will be able to either buy it in a raw unpainted frame or in one of our colors that we will get into in a little bit. So if you have your own motor, your own controller, all that kind of stuff, you can transplant it onto this bike, which also brings up the other topic, which is the swing arm itself. So the swing arm is very innovative in that it uses 150 millimeter dropouts by standard, but you can take a spacer out of either side and it will go up to the 175, 180 millimeter area. So what does that mean? If you have a Super 73 or some other bike that you kitted out and you find that it's not stable, you can put a 20-inch fat tire on this bike. And you can do a 16 on the front to make it balance. So what we're going to see is a lot of people who have modded out their bikes and realize they're not safe, and then they put them on this frame, right? Kind of cool. The next step up from the frame only is actually going to be a STEM kit. So what I mean by STEM is the education, like high school programs, right? And what we will be doing, this is going to be probably one of the most important parts of Spark moving forward, is building these bikes for high school and college age kids. You'll be able to buy the bike as a complete DIY kit, all the way down to the soldering of the connectors and the programming of the controller and all that kind of stuff. So you can imagine high school kids and college kids getting this thing as a frame only, learning how to do all the soldering and wiring, and then racing against other high school kids in their areas. If you guys might remember, you saw us doing Flat Out Friday a couple months ago, right? That's what this was all about. We've been testing out how the bike would do for flat track so that we could introduce it to those programs and give them something different to do than just another robotics program or something like that. This is, I think, a little bit more exciting. So the third tier from that is all going to be about off-road. So it'll be called the tracker version of the bike. And the tracker version of the bike will not have a screen. Instead, you will use your phone. You can connect to the controller using your phone. It will not have turn signals. It will not have a VIN. It will be very stripped down to its bare levels. You can think about it like some of the other electric dirt bikes out there. And so what that's going to allow us to do is to get that bike down to about $4,700, which I think is pretty incredible. And then going from there is the top tier, which is the street version of the bike, which is basically what we expect the most bikes to be. And that bike is going to start at around $5,000. So with $5,000 in mind, there will be an incredible amount of colors. So one of the advantages that we get by making these frames by ourselves is the fact that we can offer tons of different colors. I think right now we're starting with maybe 10, and that will probably go up to somewhere between 30 and 40 colors. There will also be a ton of different side panels. So to start, I think we have 5 different side panels, but we can vinyl wrap all of these. So imagine going to the website and just being able to customize this thing to however you would like it, and thus building it to order. So we really expect it to be this scenario where no two Javelins will be the same, which will be very exciting. And that will also be true for things like the seat, right? So the seat will have tons of different options. The headlight will have tons of different options. And we'll have a lot of other accessories. So what you guys are going to see in there are a couple different types of racks, actually. So there is a cargo rack, which is nothing too exciting, but it's very nice to have. Then there is something that we're calling a charge cowling. So the cowling is just another word for this back end. But what's cool about that one is it has a standard power plug inlet. So all you need is a standard extension cord, and you can plug it in and charge your bike. So think about going to your friend's house or something like that. They have an extension cord. You can just plug in and charge your bike. Pretty cool. The controls up front are something that a lot of people are going to ask about. I can kind of turn this around. I don't know if it can help. While I turn it around, one little feature that people have been requesting that's nice. On the side are these handles. So the bike is heavy, right? It's like 150 pounds. And putting it onto a car or something like that is difficult. So there is a handle on either side. So just going through these toggle switches up front, right? The first toggle switch is just your power mode. So you have a high power mode and a low power mode. The middle one is more interesting. So if you look on the handlebars, there is this accessory button right here. Depending on what that toggle switch is set to, changes what that button does. So in one mode, it will activate a reverse function, and in the other mode, it will set it to a cruise control. The bike does have regen braking, and we will also have an option to add a second button to toggle that regen into it in case you don't want it to be activated by the levers. And then the third thing right down here is a accessory output. So there is a 12-volt output inside the bike that you can wire up to whatever you want. And the reason we're doing that is because we are also developing a lot of accessories that run off the 12 volts. So, for example, we might make a panel that has an entire sound system built into it. We might continue working on that Mario Kart project. Remember the Mario Kart project, right? You can kind of get the idea here that this 12-volt output is going to allow us to work on all these other accessories down the line, or you guys can use them to do whatever you want. I won't go too far into it because I know it's a lot of detail right now. When we're in there, you guys will see all the other options. That's pretty much how this bike is laid out. I did have one more thing. V, do you have that battery for me?
Yeah, sure.
So these are the guys from Powerful Lithium. One thing I would like to say before getting into the battery is we are really trying to prioritize using local people to do things. And when you go to our website, we're not going to rebrand everything as Spark. You know what I mean? So you go on, you'll see an entire listing of all Tapia seats. We want to work with Powerful Lithium so that we can have our standard battery and the Powerful Lithium battery option, right? So all these things will highlight the makers because that's really what Spark is about, right? It's that small community. And so we want to highlight all the people that are making these things. So this is another battery. I guess I should show you guys this battery. That's a black one, but by default they are stainless steel. That was bad before. Oh, sorry, Taryn.
What's happened? Can't fit?
I think that's the wrong battery.
Wrong battery?
Yeah, hold on one second.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, let me back this up.
I'm so sorry.
It's alright. It really helps us out. Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
We had this smaller battery made. That's a 30 amp hour instead of the standard 40. So, oh my god. Hold on.
I didn't want to ruin the event. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, so our other battery manufacturer made they put like a 50 amp BMS in it, so we sent it to Powerful Lithium. But I think really what it is, let me just play this again. Yeah, so we haven't been developing one bike. We've been developing two bikes.